Hey there, folks. Santeenth Arizona Ghost Riders here. A Hawken rifle. Yeah. Let's look into it.
A 50 caliber Hawken.
Some years ago, a friend and fellow historian gifted me with a Hawken rifle. One of our other members has one, so now we are silly with Hawkens.
Hawkens.
These are wonderfully crafted firearms. In the early to mid 1800s, explorers were making their way out west, blazing trails and planting the seeds of settlements. The expansion was beginning, and emigrants were needing firearms. There were many rifles made during this time period. A famous one was the Hawken. Samuel and Jacob Hawken were master muzzle-loading craftsmen. In fact, their whole family was talented in the gun-building trade back in the colonies. However, Sam and Jake decided to venture west to St. Louis and opened a gun shop in 1818. There they designed and handcrafted their new long gun nicknamed the Rocky Mountain Rifle. Fur traders, mountain men, and pretty much anyone making the trek to this new frontier could consider one of these. William Henry Ashley took an early design with him on their first expedition to the Rockies. This is generally accepted as one of the first Hawken rifles. Jacob Hawken seems to have taken some inspiration from other gun makers, the barrel from a bear rifle, the long oval patch box built into the stock, etc. It was a light rifle for the time period, coming in a little over 10 pounds. Originally, the business was churning out only 100 a year, and much of that was custom built. For instance, 50 and 54 caliber were pretty common, but Kit Carson had one in a whopping 70 caliber.
I hunt grizz.
Grizz?
Grizzly bears, Pilgrim.
The wrought iron octagonal barrels typically were 33 to 36 inches, and they were set into walnut or maple stocks. Those stocks were known as half stock, meaning the wood didn't extend the full length of the barrel like the famous Kentucky rifle. Originally a flintlock system, they moved to the newer percussion cap builds starting in the 1830s.
Hi, I'm Dave Rogers of the Frontier American Illustrated News. I'm holding today a St. Louis pattern plains rifle. Now this is a 54 caliber weapon, and it was designed to bring down big game. It was a favorite for those who could get them, but it was one of many guns that were out there on the frontier. This weapon right now is loaded with 110 grains of 2F black powder with a 53 caliber patch ball sitting on top of it.
Many plains rifles like these came with the popular adjustable double-set trigger system. This allowed for a hair trigger, meaning mere ounces of pressure would fire the gun, providing you pulled the rear trigger first to set it. The Hawken brothers produced a durable and accurate firearm that was desperately needed to traverse not only the Rocky Mountains, but the Great Plains as well. For the period, these rifles were not cheap. $22 up to $30 was a few months' wages for most laborers. However, quality does come at a price.
Will you buy guns for us?
Guns are very expensive and hard to get.
Famous mountain men like Hugh Glass, Jim Bridger, and Jedediah Smith had Hawkens. In fact, Theodore Roosevelt cherished that 70 caliber of Kit Carson's mentioned earlier. By the 1850s, the Hawkens went into decline as breech-loading weapons were starting to become popular. By 1862, the shop was sold, but its place in history was set. In the late 20th century, we saw a resurgence of the Hawken, partly due to the famous movie Jeremiah Johnson, starring Robert Redford.
I lodged Boulder at Dead Wolf Creek and traded her for a Hawken gun.
These firearms are still around today, sold as reproductions, and you might even find an antique out there. Most of the ones I've seen are in museums or private collections, and boy, are they magnificent. What an iconic piece of the American frontier. Well, that's it for their episode. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on down the trail. What are you all doing? What are you all doing? What? What's the matter? You got a lot to say today. What's going on? What do you got to say? What do you got to say? What's that green stuff hanging off you? I don't want to know. Gross! Hi, buddy. Hi.